In fact, last weekend, someone actually cheated his way into qualifying for the next round of a tournament. So he's cheating his way towards a potential $115,000 prize. So after the road to the All-Star Pro-Am tournament and the My Team Unlimited 250k tournament, we were excited to see that there was going to be another tournament for the people that played Play Now, and also, well, the people that play 5v5 other than the 2K League, because it's probably as many people, if not more, playing that than play using only one specific player like Pro-Am or Park. And the 2K20 Global Championship was something that a lot of people were excited for, especially when we heard about the whole format of the competition. There were so many flaws with the 250k My Team tournament last year, and this exact tournament seemed to have almost stopped all of those flaws. It went solely on wins and losses. So if you lost 2 games, you were out, you played 8 games, and the matchmaking was based on records. So if you were 4-0 and there was a load of people 4-0, you're going to be matched up with someone that's 4-0. It's not just going to be random matchmaking, which was a massive thing. And also, it was, again, not decided by rage quits. The 250k tournament was decided purely by rage quits. Someone could win every single game and still have half the points of the guy that won the whole competition, because it's all about who can force the most rage quits and who can force them the most quickly. So it's about playing a style of play that you can blitz people out of the blocks, and the more close games you have, or even the more games you finish, the worse it is. But one thing that I didn't notice until basically 2 or 3 days before I entered the tournament is that this isn't actually being ran by 2K itself. This is being ran by ESL, which is an esports company. And from looking at the main page of this tournament, it seems like it has basically solved all the problems with the 250k. The problem was there were so many people on different regions in the 250k tournament that pretty much everyone was lagging, and it was just kind of a crazy situation. And the tournament in Europe, as much as it's kind of being annoying being from Ireland, where we don't have our specific tournament, it looks like the format of it is really good. So there's weekly qualifiers where everyone plays in their region and top 2 qualify. And then there's going to be the online playoff qualifiers where you only play against, so the top 2 from all the qualifiers all go into the same competition. They all play against each other, and there's one qualifier per region. There's never going to be too much lag, too much input delay when players are on the same server. Like, I know there's always going to be some, but it's going to be minimal when they're all on the same server, which is good. And then for the regional finals, which is like, say, Europe region and the America region, it's going to be a LAN tournament, which is going to be really exciting. It's going to be an actual big tournament. Everyone's going to be in the same place. And that could be great. And in the global championship as well. So all the best players from each region get to qualify for the global championship. 8 players. And again, it's another LAN tournament. So it's not like the 250k tournament where it's all online until the very final. And the fact that that went so badly last year, and they're doing the exact same thing this year, shows that 2K could not care less about that 250k tournament. And at least from face value, it looks like this company, and I can guarantee you, once it comes to the actual tournament, they're going to do a much better job running it than 2K did. However, anything related to 2K, whether it's 2K themselves or whether it's a company just running stuff off the game of NBA 2K, there is always going to be massive problems. And you know what the biggest problem has been with this tournament? Cheats. And it's been so poorly moderated. And I'm not even going to say it's the fault of 2K the game. It's the fault of whoever's moderating the tournament, that it is so easy to cheat. And if you cheat on somebody early enough in the tournament, there is nothing they can do. And in fact, last weekend, someone actually cheated his way into qualifying for the next round of a tournament. So he's cheating his way towards a potential $115,000 prize. And how did he manage to do this? By simply submitting wrong scores, and the website allowed his submitted scores with no proof whatsoever. And also, there was no room for appeal, and I'm going to explain why right now. So basically, this tournament, games started on the hour every hour. But whatever way they were doing the tournament, people were getting their matchups like 20 minutes into the hour. It would take a half an hour to play a 5-minute quarter game, and some of the times it does take about 10-15 minutes to set up the game, add your opponent, message them, and set it all up. So as soon as the round technically ended, which was at the end of the hour, if you got the loss, there was no way of appealing it. So basically what this guy would do was he would submit a fake score while the game was still going on, and then After, obviously, the game was finished, he'd have submitted the fake score already, and then when the round had technically ended, even though the game was still going on because the game had been delayed a little bit, partially due to the website and partially due to just people getting into a game, he would have submitted that score, and that score was final because there was no grounds to appeal, because that was it. The result had been submitted, and once the hour hit, the result was completely finalized. There was nothing they could do. And I'm telling you, like, I genuinely had this exact same situation happen to me when I was playing in the tournament last week. I was playing in a game where I was completely dominating, like up 20, and suddenly it says the match result is now final. So basically, my opponent, I'm pretty sure, submitted a result, and this was on the hour. So when I went in to look at it, I couldn't appeal. There was nothing I could do, and I had already previously lost a game. This was only in round 2, I think. I previously lost a game to the one UK player that was in the 2K league, and he ended up winning every other game. So I would have just won every other game and been the other qualifier. Like, that was what was going to happen. But no, I'm pretty sure this guy submitted in a fake result, and there was nothing I could do. So evidently there is a massive flaw in the system where basically as soon as the hour is over, there is nothing you can do, because if you've lost your second match, you're out. There is no way to appeal. And even if by the time everything does come to light, if you've lost that second match, you'll be out. You'll be long gone. It'll take a couple of days to figure it out. And eventually, like, people will be found out if it ends up being the difference between qualifying and not qualifying. But it's going to take a while, and it's not done in real time. It is done a couple of days later. So there's so many people being screwed out of games because of this flawed system. So I'm going to now talk about the guy who basically cheated his way into qualification. Thankfully, ESL overturned the decision. Thankfully they did. I'm going to say that right now. But this guy got away with it. He could have, if it wasn't for Twitter, if it wasn't for so many people that were known in the 2K community and knew about this guy cheating, trust me, this wouldn't have been noticed. He would have gotten away with it because people don't have a big enough voice, and this tournament system is so flawed. So this guy, his name is Nate Hoops, and this guy was submitting in fake scores for almost every game he played. It seemed to be like he seemed to be like he's a decent enough player, but he was submitting in fake scores, and then by the time the games would finish, if he'd won the game, his opponent wasn't going to complain, and if he didn't win the game, all of a sudden his opponent couldn't do anything because the tournament wouldn't let them do anything. Like, I submitted pictures of my one, and it didn't make a difference. There was nothing I could do. If I complained enough, I probably could have gotten added back in the next day, but by then the tournament's over, and it doesn't matter. I'm not getting through anyway. So there's one guy, Crymouse. He's actually gone 8-0 both weeks and lost out in a tiebreak. And then suddenly this Nate Hoops guy wins the entire thing, and everyone's kind of confused. So initially, Crymouse was just annoyed that he lost the tiebreak. And it turns out a guy named Proxify actually had beaten the guy Nate Hoops, and he basically was just letting Crymouse know that it just wouldn't let him appeal it. And as he said, as long as the round ends, there's nothing they can do, and that he showed them proof. Obviously, I'm not going to show the picture here, but it is a picture of him winning the game, and they still didn't overturn it. So then there was actual uproar about this. We had big YouTubers like Henry Denverstruck tweeting out about this guy, and in the end, Nate Hoops ended up changing his Twitter ad about 10 times, privating his Twitter and blocking literally everybody that tried to follow him. And it took people bombarding ESL with tweets to end up disqualifying him. And it turns out that not only did he put in a fake result against Proxify, but he actually put in a fake result against the guy who ended up being one of the two qualifiers. So when the results were finalized, it turns out there was a guy, Check the Tape, who was given a win-loss record of 7-1 when he actually won all his games. So if it wasn't for this, Check the Tape would have been credited with a loss, which ended up putting him through. It's really unfortunate for Mousecry or Crymouse. He has literally gone 8-0 both weeks and has lost out in a tiebreaker both weeks. But at least now, he has lost in a tiebreaker to someone who deserves to be 8-0 and not losing in a tiebreaker to a guy who has cheated his way through the competition. So anyway, that is the video. Honestly, it just seems like, I'm not obviously blaming 2K for this, but it just seems like anything that's even slightly related to 2K ends up being an absolute disaster. Obviously, I'm not big in esports scenes. This might happen in a lot of other tournaments, but surely there should be a way of appealing. And surely you should give a bigger time limit of an hour for every game if you're going to delay the fixtures by a half an hour. The fixtures and stuff should be done on the hour, every hour. And if you don't submit your result, it should prompt you on screen saying what was the result of this game. And if you're not obviously not on your computer, then you can't really dispute it. But again, if you're in the middle of a game, you're not going to think about what's going on. You're just going to see things saying result is now final. And when it's like when the other person submits the result, there's nothing you can do. Like, it doesn't come up with a notification, but at the end of the hour, when the result is finalized and there's nothing you can do, that's only when you see the notification and realize, okay, I am kind of screwed. But yeah, that is pretty much it. It is a seriously flawed tournament. While I think once the qualifiers are all picked out, once this whole initial system of getting some qualifiers is finished, and I think the actual tournament is going to be class. Trust me, like, I think when they fly people in for the LAN tournament for 2K, I think if there are some big enough players involved, I don't know, I don't think Jinsanity has a big enough draw. I don't think even guys like Tyler Debo, Splash, or even Crymouse have that big a draw, but you just never know. If someone, I don't know, if on the off chance someone like me comes through the European wildcard, or if on the Australia side it ends up being Killzamoy or something like that, or who knows, imagine if Ticino decides to play in it, and something like that one of those players gets through the big tournament. You could be looking at 30,000-40,000 viewers at a well-run, actually well-done competitive tournament for 2K, which is something that we've never seen, to be completely honest. But yeah, so anyway, that's the video. Someone actually almost got away with cheating their way to qualifying for a $115,000 tournament. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.